It's time. 2021 Game of the Year. What do you think it's going to be? Hey everyone, it's Kylie at Games Unlimited. It is the end of 2021 and it's time for me to announce my pick for Game of the Year. We've had a lot of great games come out this year, and of course picking Game of the Year is interesting because you start off, January, February, things come out, they're really awesome, you think this might be Game of the Year, but of course you got a lot of months ahead of you for new releases to come out, new things to try. So I'm going to go through the 5 top picks I have and then tell you which one I think is the best Game of the Year. So we're going to start off with February's release of Qubitos. This one sat out on our demo shelf for months. I mean, basically, it would probably still be there if we had inventory, if we had stock. It only got removed because we didn't have copies to sell. This is a deck building, dice building game where you're also using those dice to complete a race. So I've told people it feels a lot like the Quacks of Quedlinburg mixed with Couriers or Dice Masters, because the dice are all custom and unique, and there's different ways to put them together for combinations in each game. Each die also has multiple, I think 6 or 7 different versions of it. So every game is going to be different. There's 4 different racetracks. We absolutely love this game. Beautiful table presence, beautiful dice. And it was one of those first ones. I said back in February, this has got to be a contender for Game of the Year. Then I didn't really see one until August. So we went through pretty much the spring and summer with nothing totally hitting me, nothing screaming Game of the Year, until I got a chance to play Nitavelir. Technically, we got this in April. We had a few copies. It was one that wasn't on my radar. Had some customers ask about it, got a few copies in. They flew off the shelves before I even got to try it. Then we got a restock in August. I played this game at a friend's birthday party. I had a friend come over. He wanted to play games all day. This was one of the ones we tried. And immediately after playing it, we played it a second time. It was that good. So this is a game about trying to build a team of dwarves to go help you defeat a dragon. But really, it's about picking the dwarves you want and picking up their tab in a bar. So you're going to start off with some coins, you're going to see which dwarves are out there, and you're going to bid a coin. This is how much money I'm willing to spend to get first pick of the dwarves that are out there. Over the course of the game, you're going to build sets, you're going to upgrade your coins, because those are also worth points at the end of the game, but will give you more bidding power. The first convention that I went to post-COVID, I went to in August. I took this, I ended up teaching this game probably 8 to 10 times over the course of the few days that I was there. I loved it that much. So it immediately became one of the top contenders for Game of the Year for me. At that same convention though, the very last game I played was one that hadn't come out yet. It was a pre-release copy. I hadn't really even thought about it. I'd seen it, but hadn't given it too much thought. That was Cora. I ended up playing it because I was like, oh, it's a beautiful box, it's a beautiful insert, it's a Civilization style game, let me give this a try. And finished the game about 6 p.m., had about a 3-hour drive home, but was tempted to stay and play another game because I didn't like the fact that I wasn't going to be able to play it again until it got a retail release. But we did finally get this in. I ordered some of these, had it for our pop-up Gen Con event. I absolutely love Cora. It's a bigger game, maybe a 75, 90-minute game, but a lot of different strategies. You have different civilizations you can choose to grow from. You're going to be drafting cards. It's just a great game. One of those games when people ask me, like, what makes it so special? There isn't one in particular thing. It's just all of its mechanisms are things you've probably seen before, but they fit together in just a beautiful, beautiful package. I absolutely adore Cora. So that was August. Coming to my next convention was Origins in October, and one of the new releases there was Rift Force. Now, this is a small 2-player game. Caught my eye because it actually got a Spiel des Jahres recommendation this year, which is interesting because it doesn't look like the sort of game that the Spiel committee usually takes notice of. It's a 2-player battle line style game. What I mean by that is you're going to be playing cards to your side of these 5 territories. Your opponent's going to be playing on the other side. You're trying to control them. You're going to get points if you have units there and the opponent doesn't. You're going to get points for destroying their units. What makes it interesting is the shuffle building aspect. So you're going to choose, you're actually going to draft back and forth with your opponent 4 different elements out of the 10 that are in the box. Shuffle together your deck. Each element behaves a little differently. Some of them do a lot of damage, but do damage to your own troops. Some of them let you move troops around, a lot of positioning. This is one that I enjoyed on my first play. I saw its potential. Every play since then, the game has just gotten deeper and better. Like it's one of the games this year that saddens me because we haven't sold a ton of it, but I just feel like it's a sleeper hit. If you like two-player card games, this one is phenomenal. It's gonna get better with every single play. That is Rift Force. And the last one is one that just came out a couple of weeks ago. One that wasn't even super on my radar or something that I personally would like, and that is Final Girl. Now, first of all, this is a solitaire game, completely solo game, and in which you play the final girl. It's a horror movie scenario. The scenarios, a lot of them are based on things like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. But you're gonna choose a final girl. You're gonna choose a scenario. You're gonna choose a killer. All of that's customizable. So if you want the Jason Voorhees type killer on Elm Street, you can play that way. Each game is actually the boxes. You take part of the box off, and that creates, in this case, the scenario, the killer. But the other side of the box is going to show the location that you can mix and match. Just a really cool production and an awesome game. It uses the hostage negotiator system. So if you've played that, it's one of the venerable co-op games out there, solitaire games out there. But it takes the theme to a whole nother level. If you're a fan of like B horror movies, if you're just a fan of solitaire games, I've played this, we've had it in the store a week and a half. I've played 5 or 6 games at this point, still haven't won. But I just absolutely love this one. This had to be one of my contenders for Game of the Year. So, that's what's on the docket. I've had to do a lot of soul searching and thinking about what game I'm willing to put my personal Game of the Year stamp on. And at the end of the day, I'm still a retailer. I have to think about accessibility. So as much as I like something like Cora, I know it's a game that's going to appeal to a slightly more narrow audience, the people who are in for that kind of game. So I've honestly think I had this one pegged since I first played it back in August, but my Game of the Year is Nitavelir. We've sold a ton of it. I think it's one of those games anybody can play. I mean, it's not quite a gateway game, but if you're willing to learn a pretty quick game with elements of set collection, with this awesome mechanic where you are upgrading, you're spending the coins that you're using to bid on things to actually upgrade those coins and give you higher bidding power. There's an expansion out that I haven't even tried yet. I think this base game is just phenomenal. Wonderful game. 2 to 5 players. I think it's best with at least 3, but it's wonderful all the way up to 5. Almost every time I've played this game, I've ended up playing twice in a row because the people love it so much. I cannot recommend this more highly. Hard to pronounce name, sure, but gameplay-wise, Nitavelir is getting my pick for 2021 Game of the Year. I'm Kylie at Games Unlimited. I hope you come down and check out any of these games, pick up the ones you can. Definitely take a look at Nitavelir. And as always, I hope you've had a great year. Hope you've had a lot of chances to come on down, pick up some games, and unbox some fun.